right, ladies and gentlemen, it is 5:31. I am calling this meeting to order. We do have a quorum of the commission present. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, the minutes from the March 24th, 2026 meetings have been distributed to you. We have a quorum here tonight. Are there any corrections to the minutes? If not, do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
I second that.
All right, it's been moved by Commissioner Barsky and seconded by Commissioners Hannah and Janae that we approve the minutes as written from the March 2026 Cultural Arts Commission meeting. I'll now call for a vote. Come here. It's not coming up on here. Okay, the motion passes unanimous. All right, new business. We have a lot of gorgeous art to discuss.
Good evening. Good to see everyone. It's been a little while. So happy summer. Hope everybody's enjoying it. I'm going to kind of get this started. We do this project every 2 years, and I wanted to kind of give an overview, and then I'll let Nancy Murphy with Arts Alpharetta, I'll let her step up and walk through the presentation. This particular exhibit will last through 2028. We will be presenting 10 sculptures this evening. 8 pieces are in existing locations from our previous exhibit from 2024 to 26. And we have 2 for 2 new locations. We are requesting that you review each sculpture individually, considering artistic merit, location, to determine which works will advance for recommendation to Mayor and Council. So this evening, Nancy will kind of go through the presentation, the entire presentation, and then we'll start from the beginning again, and then vote and go through each one and take a vote. We want you to see the full exhibit and get an overview. Recommendations tonight, you can recommend 1 sculpture to Mayor and Council, or you may recommend 10, all 10 sculptures. So it isn't a project recommendation, it's each individual sculpture we'll be voting on. Proposed sculpture installations, they're scheduled for August to September. They'll all be staggered at different times. It just depends on when the previous sculpture is leaving. It depends on shipping. There's a lot of variables that Arts Alpharetta works through. They've been working on this for how many months, do you think? Since January. So, and it takes a little while. So it's almost, I'd say 2/3 of the year. It's a long project. Any changes to the sculptures this evening? They may need to start a new call to artists if we want to do additional sculptures. If you do not, then we can just stick with 8 sculptures. We do not have to get an additional 2. Arts Alpharetta, they provide all aspects of the project. The city hires them to find the artist, outreach, communication. They do all the rental agreements and payments with the artist. They do the curation, her whole board. They work on the project as a team. They do project budget management, installation, de-installation, and marketing. They volunteer all of their time. They're not paid anything for this time as an organization. The City of Alpharetta, Arts Alpharetta, and the Alpharetta Convention and Visitors Bureau also partner to produce a public art walk brochure. And the city staff, we post this on our GIS system that we do an online art walk in addition. So we'll update both of those based on your decisions and Mayor and Council's approval later. And with that, I'm going to invite Nancy up and let her kind of walk you through the presentation. Okay.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Nancy Murphy. Thank you for this opportunity to show you what we found for Dazzled and Discord. Oops, let's go back this way here. Hold on. Somehow we jumped too far ahead.
That's because we were looking at that video.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was. Yep. Okay, sorry about that. Here we go. So we are in this round. You can see the history there of what we've been, what we've done before. Some of you have been a part of this. For some of you, this is new. But in this fifth round, we are celebrating Dazzle and Discord, and we've chosen this title based on that element of surprise. The thing that's exciting is when you come around the corner and you see something you didn't expect to see, and that visual delight. But discord can sometimes be viewed as a negative, but we are seeing it in the most positive interpretation of that, where you have a little bit of tension and surprise. And so we don't think it's a negative thing, but discord these are all terms. Our theme has been to choose terms that are relative to music that will kind of help people remember that we are a music city here in Alpharetta. But discord is a favorable thing in a lot of pieces. So that's where the sculpture title, this collection comes from. Oh, I still did that same thing again, jumped again. Sorry. See if I can remember how to use the tool here. All right. So I'm going to go through these sculptures. These are the titles of the 10 sculptures we hope to bring. I won't go through and read every piece on the slide, but I will go through each as we look at each piece. Nouveau Crane by Lee Bell is an artist we've had before. This is a picture that she has sent from her sculpture. It's not what we see in the city, but these are just close-up views of that sculpture. And there it is proposed to go between City Hall and the library. The next one is A Crack in the Past. This is a sculpture that does come in two parts. Am I going too fast, or do I need to?
No,
Okay.
you're doing great.
Just
I wanted to
overview.
say- You can go to
Okay.
the first.
Back to this one?
No, you go to the first. Go to Crack in the Past.
Crack in the Past.
Mhm.
You go.
I'm just stepping up, and I apologize for interruption, but this presentation is different than what was in our packet. We had some feedback from some commissioners today about concerns about the location, so we left the location that was presented in the packet originally, and we added 2 additional options. So she's aware of it. I just wanted you to know it was different than the packet that you were emailed.
Okay. So these are just close-ups of that sculpture. And then this is a proposed location outside the entrance to the parking garage. This is the reverse view of what you just saw, still the original location that we had proposed. But this is slightly moved further away from the parking garage entrance and at a greater distance apart. But you can actually walk through the 2 halves of this sculpture. And this is a third location, even further away from the parking garage and into that green space that's kind of going around the sidewalk. You would see all the election signs here. So these are alternate positions based on that feedback that Kim just described. Wonder is a linear sculpture proposed to go into the area behind the library in Brook Street Park. The slideshow has also a reference for your recollection of what's there now. So we hope that will help place these in context. And we added into this slide collection some distance views, again, so to help people know sort of where this is in the city of Alpharetta if you're not familiar with where Tangent Circles was. For this next location, Century by Ben Stover. This would be going in Brook Street Park, close to the Little Lazy River. And there it is in its location with some distance. And these are actual Alpharettites here we're looking, but that sculpture's not really there. The wonders of Photoshop. Just One Look. Greg Johnson is a local sculptor. We have several of his pieces in town, but we have brought in Just One Look, which is steel and fiberglass. Some close-up views. It's going where Yellowbird is now, and that's at the corner of Haynesbridge and Academy. And from a distance, difficult to see in this. It's, while photo editing is a great toy, it doesn't always do everything you need to do, but that's roughly where the sculptures, and the laborer is up the sidewalk this way. Urban Flow, sorry. Sorry. Urban Flow is the next piece. Sorry, I just went too fast. These are pieces from the views from the artist. We're proposing it goes where Luminaria. This is the Hamilton Inn here. And just so you know, this piece does light up at night. And we do have a power source at that location. From a distance, Vertex Vortex, I think we lost our picture there. But this is the sculpture here. It's going in Thompson Street Park. This particular sculpture is Ethereal Triptychus is there now, and this is the same artist. His pieces are, the way that they're constructed and the location that this is, fit really well in that space. That's why we've chosen to put the same sculpture in that spot.
Do you want me to help you show the video? of that?
Sure. Is this the time? So that one does move with air currents, and it has a solar-powered light, and that light rotates in that color spectrum. It is not a bright, shining headlight that shines in somebody's window. It's a very subtle light, but we're excited about it and hope that you all will be too. Okay, and there it is from a distance. All right. Oops. King of the Prairie is a stained glass piece reflective of Frank Lloyd Wright's work, his architectural work. This particular sculpture is stained glass and steel, but each side has different panels of glass. So I think we noticed in the public art review that there's a yellow piece here in the center, but it's a different color. They are not the same on both sides of the sculpture. So it's not just light shining through one panel of glass. There's two panels of a mosaic on either side. And this is going up Thompson Street. This is Avalon in the background. And it's a pretty tall piece. It's 11 feet tall. Rising Spirits. It's a shiny but textured aluminum sculpture here. And we're proposing a new location at the entrance of Webbridge Park. When you come into Webbridge Park and you drive in, there's a crosswalk off to the side that we just had repainted called Wildflowers. And this is going in this grassy area across the way, and that's a pedestrian bridge that you drive through. And according to the park manager out there, it's the deer's favorite hangout, so we'll have something interesting for them to look at when they get there. The deer will be there. Red Green Construction is a piece by Ray Katz. This piece was actually installed in the Roswell, Sandy Springs area several years ago, but Ray Katz is a fairly popular sculpture around the southeast, but we're excited to bring that piece to a new location at the entrance to the Greenway across from Union Hill Park. Okey-doke. And then our alternate piece is Virgin Column, Flowers for Richard for the Love of Steel. That's a long title for one sculpture, but we brought in an alternate just in case one of these others did not pass. So, there we go. I will go back through here, and we'll start one at a time. Okay. So, with Nouveau Crane is a part of a bird series that this artist did, but it is the only crane. Any questions? What can I answer for you about this piece? I don't know if you can, if you go to, let's go backwards on the screen so they can see where the crane actually is. You can see the bird's head here. The bird is kind of twisting around irises as if he's in the reeds. And we've had pieces by Lee Bell before in other series of sculptures. So she has always presented very positively in our town, and she's colorful but subtle.
So we have, did you want to move to the?
Yes, I think we're taking these one at a time.
So this is specifically for Nouveau Crane. Do we have a motion?
I motion to recommend Nouveau Crane.
Do we have a second?
I second the motion.
Okay, the motion is now on the floor for discussion. Are there questions or thoughts? I will say, just as an overview of all this, I think it's a fabulous collection. I'm interested to see what everybody else thinks, but it's got some earthy ones and so much color. You know, since I directed Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, I'm all about Technicolor, including my reading glasses. So I love the pops of color that we're going to get to see. And this is one of my favorite ones.
And scale matters for us too. You know, you'll notice at the early slides for each piece, we talk about the size of them. So we have things, I think that the smallest we have are at 7 feet, the largest is at 16. So that matters in the setting, but also that the dynamic value of color in a very large piece can be a challenge in location. So we're pretty happy with where that laid out.
I'll follow that up with kudos to the whole team. I'm just in awe how you guys every 2 years come up with a collection that's filled with very, very different pieces, and find locations where they can actually be showcased and they play off of the location plays off of the art and vice versa. So thank you for all the work that went in that, and then knowing that this entire collection is part of the public art walk, so it truly is a little treasure hunt. Get dazzled
Very
at every
good.
street corner.
That's what we're
I
going
love
for.
that. So thank you to all of you for making that happen.
Okay, I will now call for, the motion on the floor is, wait, this is really, it has been moved by Commissioner Barsky and seconded by Commissioner Hanna. I will now call for vote. Okay, the motion on the floor is to recommend the Dazzle and Discord Nouveau Crane with, and the motion passes unanimously.
Okay. We got one. Okay, crack in the past. The artist has given us flexibility to place these two halves in, her initial recommendation was at whatever distance that we wanted so that you could actually walk into the crack of the past to the portal on the other side. But I had explained to her that we were considering doing a staggered sort of placement so that you almost create a bit of a maze effect. So they wouldn't be in the same parallel plane, they might be placed a little bit more like that. And she was very excited about that, very positive, very open to it. It is not a part of a series. There's no other one like it. This is a style of work that she does like. This is some of her work does look kind of like this, but nothing is like this piece.
Point of information, if we are voting to recommend, what is the initial location in case we want to make modifications to the location?
The initial location is by the parking deck here, and they are directly across from each other, the placement of the sculpture. The second option is having the sculpture still by the parking deck, but staggered. Or the third option is having them placed across from each other, but at the main entryway, the main roadway to the parking deck.
Yeah, so this is the corner of Park Place and I guess Haynes Bridge, roughly.
Okay. Commissioners, keep in mind that our recommendation will also stipulate the location. So is there a motion regarding crack in the past?
Motion to approve, recommend.
Is there a second?
I second that motion. Approve as proposed in the original location.
Okay, it has been moved by Commissioner Barsky and seconded by Commissioner Janay that we recommend the Dazzle and Discord a crack in the past. The floor is open for discussion.
This is one of my favorite pieces, because,
Yeah.
so, you have my blessing. I was fortunate to attend the workshop with these guys, and we went through a lot of, let's call it gyrations,
We had
As-
Discord.
as to the pieces selected and the locations. It was a very good meeting because we got to really talk about the art. And I agree, these pieces are a wide variety of different styles, colors, textures. The one thing that was important to me is just scale. Some of these pieces you want to walk through, you want to touch. So a lot of them, the recommendations are on walkways. And some of the other pieces are larger, like the piece we're going to see in Webb Bridge, where it's just more of a drive-by piece. But I applaud everybody who participated in this, and thanks for letting me hang out with you guys.
I also like this piece a lot. I like the texture, the design, especially all the detail on it. I am very familiar with the spot, and I feel like it's a very congested spot. Since this, so I'm concerned about how the placement is. I do feel like the way you staggered it in the second one might help with that. Because it's congested there with cars getting in and out of that little tiny drive there. Although if it's separated this much, does it affect the overall impact of the two pieces together? Do you still see them as one piece or whatever? But I mean, are we, anyway, that's my concern about just the placement. I do feel like if you put it in the field, you lose the whole idea of walking through it. It's beautiful there, but it does belong on a sidewalk.
One aspect of this I wanted to share is they will be lighted at night, both pieces. So that is the plan to uplight those to show the swirls.
More Dazzle.
I tend to like when they're more across from each other because you get that feeling of division more so than the angle. So I kind of like the original placement. That's just my opinion. Microphone, please.
I was just curious, why was there a conversation splitting it up and moving it all together? What were the concerns?
Pulling out of the parking deck, this, if you're here, imagine if you can see the edge of the parking deck here on the far right. So imagine your car coming out, the line of sight with this, there's two trees right here. So there's already a little bit of line of sight, but there was a concern expressed that that may block some, if my car might be right behind that. So we staggered, so that would be further down. So now this piece is actually on the other concrete pad back on the other side of the tree, which I think both work. It's just a matter of what we think would be best for the location.
I guess just stating it for the record, I agree with everybody that it would be a shame to pull it apart, for the art to be more noticeable and more impactful when it is actually seen as one piece. But if there's a public safety issue, obviously, maybe stagger them. Although it's see-through. So it's,
Yeah, I don't see it as being a visual
I don't,
impairment.
yeah.
Are we ready to take a vote? It has been moved by Commissioner Barsky and seconded by Commissioner Janay that we recommend the Dazzle and Discord crack in the past. I will now call for a vote. And the motion passes unanimously. 2 down.
Okay, Wonder, the Abigail Law. This has been a fun I've had many conversations with this artist. This particular collection, she's a metal artist, but these are scrap metal, and this collection of flowers have sort of evolved over time. This particular collection, this sculpture, the Wonder, has been installed in several municipalities since its inception. But she keeps adding to it and modifying it, so it's become quite organic. While it is not a part of a series, she said, I'm fascinated with this notion of recycling scrap metal, and so she wants to do more with it, but it's the first of its kind, and there won't be anything like it because she's dealing with found leftovers, so to speak. But she's got a cute little video. I did not bring that clip, but she's got a cute little video online about it, her first installation in North Carolina. And the way that she described how she feels about the sculpture is very much how everybody discussed it in the public art review. Our team, it's just fun, it's joyful, it's happy. And for me, I thought about behind the library with the kids pretty much take over Brook Street Park on that whole path as they're trying to go back and forth between the lazy river and play in the water. That's where I see so much activity with children. It just seemed like a great place for it behind the library.
All right, do we have a motion?
I move to recommend the Dazzle and Discord art piece named Wonder.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Okay, the motion is now on the floor for discussion. Any questions, concerns, comments?
I love it as it is. It's a really cute piece.
I agree, and I love the thought of keeping children in mind for that placement. I think that just adds to the festiveness, and it's in proximity to the bear. Anything else? All right, the floor is now closed for debate. It has been moved by Commissioner Janae and seconded by Commissioner Barsky that we recommend the Dazzle and Discord Wonder. I will now call for a vote, a recommendation. And the motion passes unanimously.
Ben Stover is an artist that we had for the first time last year, coming all the way from across the nation from Oregon. He is the artist that belongs with Beast Manifest that is currently on Main Street. But this is his piece called Century, and we're proposing this in that area, just up the Little Lazy River, just beyond that, behind City Hall in Brook Street Park. And there it is in its view.
All right, do we have a motion?
It's also not a part of a series or limited edition, but his words to me were he's very interested in this whole notion of geometric form with contrasting surfaces. So he said that it's basically the first of what he hopes are others in a similar style. But he said there won't be anything made like it. So he'll choose a different geometric shape to kind of focus on as he moves forward.
All right, do we have a motion?
I move to recommend Century.
I second.
Okay, the motion is now on the floor for discussion. Do we have any questions, comments? I'll personally comment. It has such a feeling of movement upward. I love that spiral effect. No? Okay. The floor is now closed for debate. It has been moved by Commissioner Barsky and seconded by Commissioner Hanna that we recommend the Dazzle and Discord Century. I will now call for recommendation. And the motion passes unanimously.
Okay.
And moving on to just one look.
Just one look. Greg Johnson is a coming artist. We have several of his pieces already installed in town. But this piece was, again, just one of those delightful, joyful pieces. If you'll go back a couple of slides, Kim, to the scale of this, it is 12 feet tall. Its 11-foot span is basically from the tip of that bird to the other side of the flowers. It's a steel construction and plexiglass, while he has other sculptures in his collection that are steel and plexiglass. There is no other that is a hummingbird going in for the for the joy of the flowers. So he said it's one of a kind. And I think one of his sample pictures is from his backyard. He's pretty happy it's going to get to live someplace else.
All right, do we have a motion?
I move to recommend the Dazzle and Discord piece, Just One Look.
Do we have a second?
I second.
All right, the motion is now on the floor for discussion. Do we have any comments, thoughts, questions? I'm a hummingbird fan. I have 6 hummingbird feeders in my yard right now, so this excites me a lot. So. Well, if there's no questions, the floor is now closed for debate. It has been moved by Commissioner Genet and seconded by Commissioner Barsky that we recommend the Dazzle and Discord Just One Look. I will now call for a recommendation. Okay, all right. The motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Urban Flow is a part of a conceptual series, but there is no other that looks like that. And by that, I think he was making reference to the surface treatment because he's using these, cut panels with some sort of a, like that lacy pattern will be different on each piece, and also the orientation and shape of that finished sculpture will be different. But the notion of open panels with light inside, I think, is where that repetition will come from. These are pictures from the artist. So one of them, again, the scale, I think, it feels to me like, based on the fact that the sculpture is 7 feet tall, I'm not sure that the artist was considering that when he put those 2 figures in this particular image. So we've tried to kind of increase the size of the figure because I think it would be just 1 foot taller than a 6-foot person. So. But this piece the luminaria is a little over 7 feet in its current location, so it should be comparable in size.
All right, do we have a motion? Anyone?
I recommend to the Dazzle and Discord Urban Flow.
I second that.
All right. Motion is now on the floor for discussion. Comments, thoughts?
This is a great piece, especially the place that you have chosen to put in. It's going to be, it'll be seen by many. It's in a good spot. Goes well with the Hamilton.
Agreed, and I love lit sculptures. This is right in the heart of downtown. That's great. Other thoughts? Okay, the floor is now closed for debate. It has been moved by Commissioner Barsky and seconded by Commissioner Genet that we recommend the Dazzle and Discord Urban Flow. I will now call for a recommendation. All right, the motion passes unanimously. Y'all's taste is so good, we might get out of here before 9 o'clock. On to Vertex Vortex.
Vertex Vortex. It's roughly the same size as the sculpture that's installed there now. This particular artist does have fascination with wind current and movement in his pieces. So in that regard, it is unique. It is not a part of a series, but that's what he does. Is he basically puts together stuff that moves based on air currents. And then now he's added this component of light. And what I really loved about it was that it's solar powered, so it does not require that we install a light source. It's ready to go. Of course, that light source will ebb and flow, as does our sunlight based on weather conditions. So some days we'll get a lot of light, and some days we won't get so much. If it's a heavy cloud cover, it may not get recharged. But he said it is a pretty subtle lighting, but that gradual change I think will be kind of fun and exciting.
All right, do we have a motion?
And let me go backwards, just one more thing. I just want you to know that this ethereal triptych that was installed the last round, within days of the installation, we had a threat of a major hurricane coming through our area. And luckily, it missed us and hit Greenville pretty hard. However, we did have the effect of high winds. And the first call that we got the day after from the parks manager was, that sculpture survived, because there were trees that did not. But that's what we were all worried about. But that was the first thing we heard at 7 in the morning when he was out, surveying the damage. So I have got great confidence in Lawrence's work that it's weather tight.
Okay. Once again, do we have a motion?
I move to recommend the Dazzle and Discord Vortex.
A second?
All right, the motion is now on the floor for discussion. One question I had, you know, feelings, is the solar battery going to last for the life of this installation?
Well, great question. We've asked about that, and he is sending a spare set of bearings in case there's a problem, and a backup panel should that need to be replaced. So he's bringing us what we need if something does go awry. And he's usually pretty good about, I basically describe his sculptures as erector sets, because there's a very specific, this part goes here, and he comes in and he puts those together. This location, if you're familiar with it, is down a pretty steep hill as it goes toward the pond. So installations here is tricky for our installer, but because these pieces they go in as parts, and we have lifts and whatever we need to get to the top, it's pretty remarkable to watch these things go up so easily. So he's been very good about showing us exactly what we need to know should something need to be adjusted. So that's the plan for now.
Perfect, just wanted to make sure it had been addressed. Any other comments or questions? All right, the floor is now closed for debate. It has been moved by Commissioner Barsky and seconded by Commissioner Hannah that we recommend the Dazzle and Discord Vortex. I will now call for recommendation. The motion passes unanimously. All right,
Okay.
on to
King of the Prairie.
Prairie.
Stained glass. You know, we have done a wonderful job in Alpharetta of creating natural environments all around. It does not feel like, we still feel like we're in a park pretty much anywhere you go in Alpharetta, even though you're not technically in a park. So sometimes placing our sculptures is a challenge because of tree limbs or light exposure. And with a stained glass piece like that, it was important to us, to the team, that we find a place where it was going to get enough sunlight to do this piece justice. That hill leading up to, if you've walked that hill, you experience that, you know, you're going up to the stop, you're kind of walking up the hill to the sunlight. That's one of those locations where there is a lot of exposure. There are some trees, but they're not overwhelming, super overgrown. You get a lot of sunlight exposure to pretty much any time of the day. So this felt like a great location, because as you walk up that hill, you'll get all that reflective light up there. Unusual location, because to the right of this particular image, you know, there's houses right there. And as Kim reminds me every day, they bought those houses knowing that there was a sculpture pad. There were sculpture pads out there, so they knew that art was coming. So, and we have really not had any pushback at all. But this was a kind of a stately piece. We thought it was different, unusual, had color, got the sunlight it needed, but wasn't going to be difficult color to kind of work with the environment as it backs up against that very light background of the sky and Avalon. And it's tall. While it is not a part of a series, but this is the King of the Prairie, it has a queen. So as I was talking with this artist about this, she said there is a complementary piece that's the female version of this. I didn't add a picture of that. Structurally, there's the basic frame of it is very much the same, but the lanterns aren't there. The shape of the mosaics are very different. So it is not exactly the same, but it does make reference to the other piece as a complementary piece. But she said, I'm not doing it ever again, because every panel is a mosaic.
All right, do we have a motion?
I move to recommend the Dazzle and Discord King of the Prairie.
I second that.
All right, the motion is now on the floor for discussion. Once again, color.
And I have to comment again on the site selection. I was excited about the water signs, where that was going because of the light on the wings of the dragonflies. So this one I think will be stunning.
All right, if no other questions, the floor is now closed for debate. It has been moved by Commissioner Barsky and seconded by Commissioner Genet that we recommend the Dazzle and Discord King of the Prairie. I will now call for recommendation. And the motion passes unanimously.
Okay, thank you.
On to Rising Spirits.
Rising Spirits. I did not get direct feedback from the artist about whether or not it was a part of a series, but when I look at his website, I do see that this is the style of his work. It is, highly polished aluminum pieces, some texture and patterning on that, but the shapes are very different on there. So it does look like his work, but I don't see evidence that it's as part of a limited series or a reproduction or a mass-produced kind of a thing. It does sit together. All those three pieces are on one base, so they're not installed separately. They are one piece, one sculpture. And it's fairly tall. And that particular location will get lots of sun and deer.
Do we have a motion?
I move to recommend the Dazzle & Discord piece, Rising Spirits.
I second the motion.
All right, the motion is now on the floor for discussion. Are there any comments, questions?
I would like to thank everyone for selecting sites on the other side of 400 for public art, not just once, but twice in the series. So thank you.
We're working on it.
I'm excited to see this Weybridge Park entrance.
And the park manager said the same thing. So excited to have more art. He's very excited to have more art there. So.
No other comments? If not, the floor is, oh, did you? Oh, you're already ready to vote. The floor is now closed for debate. It has been moved by Commissioner Genet and seconded by Commissioner Hanna that we recommend the Dazzle & Discord Rising Spirits. I will now call for recommendation. And the motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Red Green Construction. Again, with Ray Katz, I didn't get. It is not a part of a limited series, but this is what a lot of his work looks like. So you may see components of this in other sculptures. In my research and looking at his collection, there are some pieces that look similar, but not like it. They have either different color or different shapes. They're not all the exact same square. But this piece is very tall, at 16 feet at that entrance to the Greenway across from Union Hill Park. And it's because of its very narrow base, it does fit in a very small footprint. It is built like a tree, so it starts out narrow at the bottom and then branches out at the top.
Okay. Point of information, have we voted on all of the required, and these are optional? This is the last one, okay, thank you. So do I have a motion?
I move to recommend the Dazzle & Discord piece, Red Queen's Construction. Sorry.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Okay, y'all can fight over it.
Go ahead.
All right, the motion is on the floor for discussion. Do we have any comments, questions?
I really like where you've placed this one. It's going to be a great spot right there.
Yes, as somebody who walks there frequently, I can tell you that even the flashing pedestrian light sometimes doesn't attract attention by drivers. That will. They will now know there's an entrance to a park.
Up in the right way. They will be dazzled.
Will that one be lit at all?
Would it be lit?
Yeah.
It is not proposed for to have lighting.
Any other comments, questions? All right, the floor is now closed for debate. It has been moved by Commissioner Barsky and seconded by, Genet, and seconded by Commissioner Barsky, that we recommend the Dazzle & Discord Red Green Construction. I'll now call for a recommendation. And the motion passes unanimously.
Okay, thank you. Do we need to approve
Okay,
that?
on to an alternate
Just in
option. Bergeron Column.
Just in case. And if they don't, that's okay too.
We have an alternate here, and she's asking if, I don't know if we have that down for vote. We do, okay.
Okay, great.
Just occasionally, an artist will apply to a couple of cities, and they will accept another city before we can actually go through our approval process. So occasionally, we'll lose a sculpture based on that time frame. So this gives us an option to have another placement. We would, of course, kind of drop it into the location and run that by you, but just, is the sculpture approved as an alternate at one of the locations that we have proposed to you this evening?
That is not Alpharetta, by the way. These two pictures are, it looks a lot like Alpharetta in the background, but that's not us.
All right, is there a motion?
Move to recommend Dazzle and Discord alternate option Virgin Column.
Do we have a second?
I second
There's
that.
not that many of us here tonight. Okay, the motion is now on the floor for discussion. I will say it was my least favorite of all of them, but it's still very interesting.
I will say that the team liked it for its scale and its volume. It is a large piece and looks, it's impressive when it's a 5 feet, 5 by 5 by 9. I mean, it's got a presence. And that was something that that's important to some of the team members.
Do you have any sort of sense of which ones we might lose out on?
I do not. So the other variable that is, it's rare, but sometimes an artist will have a sale. And the reality is a sold sculpture is way better than a 2-year lease. And I have I'm currently not bound to them because right now they've not been accepted. I can't even accept them through the platform, so they're sitting waiting kind of in purgatory until we go through our process. So they've been I've explained to them, I communicate with them often, I've told them this is a timeline, I say we're still on track, don't stay with me. But when somebody says, I've got $50,000 in cash and I want to buy this, I don't know how I have a leg to stand on to say, no, you can't sell it because we're not in contract with them yet. So that's rare, it's happened a time or two, but it's my hope that it won't be an issue.
Well,
But it's
my
kinda nice to have a
understanding
piece
is
ready
that
to
we're
go
just
case by.
approving the sculpture. Would we be able to re-recommend based on location? So y'all forget your microphones too.
If one's not available, we would probably go to that location first, but we would get approval from you guys before we put it on just any location.
Okay.
But we would want to stay within the locations that we currently have out there. We don't want to put it on just a random location.
Right. Okay, so we would still have some degree of control over where it ends up.
And at this time, also, we have it on mayor and council on the agenda for July 14th for their final approval. So we still have a 2-week window, a little over a 2-week window to wait.
Okay. Any other questions, concerns?
More of a comment, maybe. Since we're sort of on the fence about this one, it might be a good idea next time to have 2 or 3 alternates, so we can maybe pick our favorites.
And if it doesn't, if it's not approved as an alternate, we would just have no alternate. So if one of those things were to happen, and we would kind of have to go back to the drawing board and see what pieces we would bring to the table to present for an alternate location. So there's potential if this is declined, go back to the artist and see if there's we would have to have another one of these processes for one piece. I think that did happen to us the last time around. We had an artist who promised his piece to Europe and forgot about it. And so we had to start over and bring a new piece in place.
Or we would just have a collection of 9 for our exhibit this year. That's the other option, so.
All right, anything else? Okay, the floor is now closed for debate. It has been moved by Commissioner Barsky and seconded by Commissioner Genet that we recommend the Dazzle and Discord alternate option Bergeron column. I will now call for recommendation. The motion passes unanimously. Once again, thank you for all of y'all's work
Okay,
with
thank
this.
you.
There's some really
Thank you,
good-looking
Arts
art
Alpharetta.
pieces.
Yay.
Yay.
Get to go to the next step. All right, that's it, thank you.
Thank you. All right, we are with staff presentations.
needed a sip of water for a sec. So. Well, we've had a lot going on. I wanted to share a few highlights, and please pause if you have any questions. One thing we haven't really chatted about is our live music match. It's very live, it's very active. So I just wanted you to see some of the performances we have in May and June, a couple of June performances in here. It's just a great program. People like it, they call, we book them. We make it very easy for the community. Wanted to highlight summer camps. We're very busy, our entire department is very busy. Recreation, arts and culture, our agriculture program. We have 3 drop-offs in the morning, just the arts and culture team. So we'll have a log cabin drop-off and pick up, we have a spotlight drop-off and pick up, and we have an art center drop-off and pick up. So if you're a parent, you're pulling in, we have to figure out routes. The mall's not even open when we drop off and pick up. We have to have a stand-in person at the door that greets them and takes them over to the mall entry at the spotlight. There's a lot going on that Zeal and Megan and Daniel, Kirsten, all of our team are working on. So I just wanted you to know this is like, we get a lot of people, a lot of kids, a lot of families that experience what we offer. So it's a very active and exciting time. Juneteenth, we have partnered with Alpha, the AKAs, for 5 years in a row. They had their Juneteenth event. We are partnered with them at the Arts Center, and it's just a wonderful team. They come, they have music gathering, they decorate. It's a beautiful event. It was last Friday, so I wanted to mention them. I didn't get a chance to put photos here, but they usually put that on social media. But if you know of anyone, they're a very strong chapter, and we appreciate their partnership if they're watching. I don't know if you're familiar with Farmhouse Overlook Park. That is directly across from Avalon on Old Mitten Parkway, and it's the first settlement of Alpharetta. And with the bond project that Morgan Rogers, our director, has been working on, I have the opportunity to do history panels. And on this Overlook Park, they will be walking out. We're working with a developer that has created, the pathway is ADA compliant, so you'll be able to go through the entire way down into the park, and you will see these historic sites, and we will have panels along the way, 4 to 5 panels that will explain the significance of the history. We are currently writing those with the Alpharetta Old Milton County Historical Society. They volunteer their time, and we work with the archives, and we are writing the history panels, and we'll be submitting to them for that historic park. And I can show you those at a future, is that right? Okay.
It was March.
Our leadership here took a look at this, and banners kind of cross over in an area that is regulated in the city as far as the time frames they can stay out. And this is a pretty big project to have a banner project for a full year and 48 banners. So we were requested to kind of do a beta test. So what we did is we reduced to 24 banners. We approached Arts Alpharetta, took the banners that our commissioners that you approved, we took those to Arts Alpharetta and said, can you reduce this outdoor exhibit to half the size? Let's do a beta test, and for 6 months. And it was also requested that we need a theme moving forward, just to have a theme so that there's sort of continuity between the outdoor exhibit. And so they named this one, and I think all the future ones, are they going to be named Artscapes? Is that how?
Artscapes is what we're going to call the project moving forward. Just different phases. If it gets stuck, we know it gets to be.
This will also be on Mayor and Council agenda for final approval on July 14th, along with the Dazzle and Discord exhibit. Riff exhibit. We have lots of exhibits going on, outdoor exhibit, and Arts Alpharetta has been very busy, so thank you again. We are discussing and reviewing potential purchases. I will bring this at a later date. I just wanted you to know that there's a potential of these 4 sculptures staying in Alpharetta, and we have different partnerships from the Alpha Loop Foundation to the Maxwell. We have different partners that we're reaching out to to ensure that these can stay here and live here as a part of our permanent collection. Life, Liberty, and Happiness. Right now, we have a themed exhibit, and our theme is to match our 250th. And we had the reception, it was last Friday, or Friday before? Last Friday. The 12th. If you haven't been there, please come out and visit. In the back of the Art Center, I wanted to share, and what I love about this exhibit, we have an art garden exhibit that Zeal, our coordinator, she actually puts out a call to artists. It's on a community level, and we have people that apply to this exhibit that don't even feel like they're artists. And it's at a comfort level, so they apply, they become a part of this exhibit, and then she promotes it on Instagram. So I just wanted you to know that that happens about every 6 weeks. This is another exhibit space. Upcoming shows at the Spotlight, in addition to our theater shows, we have a live podcast. We have the Red Hat Society that's doing a show, Bad Choices Make Good Stories. And we also have some cultural instruments here. On June 12th, we had an actual show on. Were you there, Laura, for that one? Okay, I was going to get your feedback on that. So, but I can't even tell you how busy the Spotlight is. We turn away people. We are doing tours. I mean, Daniel and Kirsten and Laura, the whole team, even Nicole, they're just about every day there's a tour over there. Very busy location. I laid this in front of you. We have a very unique art meets history showcase. This will be in the City Hall Rotunda. Our installation starts this Thursday. It's a special exhibit. We've never had an exhibit in City Hall in the Rotunda. If you look on the back here, we're going to have it available on Friday during the drone show for 2 hours to let people walk through the show. And we'll also have it available on Saturday during July 4th for 2 hours. Leading up to next week, leading up to the holiday, we will have, it'll be available during City Hall hours, the 8:30 to 4:30 every day. 2 of the items, and I'll let you kind of read about it here, but Peter Max, I don't want to tell you the whole history. I feel like I'm telling you what's going to be happening in the Rotunda. We have 2 original pieces, and they have been, the donors have had them in crates for 40 years and coming. And our Art Center coordinator knew someone who knew someone, and they were ready to open up the crates. It's just like Raiders of the Lost Ark. And they're pulling them out, and they're loaning them to us for this one-time exhibit for our celebration. So please come out if you can, pass the word around. Paint the Town, I don't know if anybody was like, where's Paint the Town this year? It's moved to fall, and Arts Alpharetta decided to move it to fall just to get some different colors, just to get a different feel for the paintings. Is that correct? Okay. Okay. So it's still here, just different placement. Maybe we can get some of the fall foliage and get a little different paintings and things. Matilda's Music at the Spotlight. We have actually partnered with the Convention and Visitors Bureau and Matilda's, and we'll be having it again, the series again, in 2027. We do it during the winter months because we think that's a great time. That Mary Jane, she's our producer for the event with Matilda's. They kind of close down when it's cold outside, so she'll bring the show inside to the Spotlight. And that's my report. Any questions?
Yes, thank you. Lots of good stuff going on. Making us look good, Kim. All right. Anyone like to come forward with any comments? Okay.
I have a comment and a question. Wow, what a great variety of art and culture in Alpharetta. Thanks to you and the team for organizing all that. And then one of my favorites is the Eclectic Lawn Concert, and I didn't see that on here. Any update on that?
I turned it off because I thought, but yes, we do have that series this fall, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it.
All right. Commissioners have any items to report? I'll do a little bit of bragging. I was in the UK watching my son in the soft opening of Greatest Showman the Musical in Bristol in the Hippodrome. It was fabulous, and he just got offered a 1.5-year contract with Disney to take it to London West End. Whenever it hits the United States, or if you're traveling over there, I mean, it outshone the movie, and that's hard to say. So, and Act One Theater, I said, is still around. We've got auditions coming up for Cotton Patch Gospel in July. So, if we don't have any other announcements, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Okay, is there a second?
I second that.
Okay. It has been moved by Commissioner Barsky and seconded by Commissioner Janay that we adjourn the meeting. I will now call for a vote. All right, the motion passes unanimously. The meeting has been adjourned at 6:33 p.m. Thank you, everyone. Wow.
Melody.